When you close your eyes and you think about like what you want your life to look like, I want you to know that that desire is there for a reason. The things that you feel called to do, it's there for a reason. Like the career field, the career that you want to be in, the art that you want to create, the poems that you want to write, the schools that you want to attend, the person that you want to become, like all of that is for a reason. So when you feel incapable of becoming that, that's where the first error has occurred. Because the fact is, if you were given the desire, then you were also given the ability to achieve it. You were given the ability to create the thing that you desire to create. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is that the people who succeed, like they get that and they're willing to work and develop the ability to create that thing that they say they want. The people who say things like maybe in another lifetime, maybe I'm just unlucky, maybe this was for them and it's just not for me, like those types of people, those are the people who aren't willing to take the time, the patience, endure the struggles. You can have whatever you want. You can have anything that you want, and you can be anything that you want in this lifetime. I truly believe that. However, whatever you ask for, you have to be willing to also experience the journey of becoming the person who can have and maintain the things that you say you want. God will not give you the cake, but he will give you all the ingredients to make it. Hello and welcome back. My name is Juditha and I am your mindset coach. I am your dream life advocate. And on this channel, we talk about all things mindset. We talk about every single thing that you need to know to create your dream life, because I'm trying to do the same thing. So trust me when I say that I get it. Today, we are talking about that feeling of like feeling called to do more, when you're ambitious, when you know you want to be an entrepreneur, when you know you want to live life in a way that nobody in your family is living it. Like, we're talking about that calling that you feel, but then being faced with the struggle of like, how am I going to do it? How is this actually going to come true? Is this actually possible for me? I mean, look at my reality. Look at where I'm at. How the hell am I going to get there from here? So that's what today's video is all about. The first thing that I want to say before anything else is you have to get rid of that I don't know how energy. Anytime you tell yourself, I don't know where to start, I don't know how to do this, I don't know what I'm going to do, I don't know if this is possible for me, like that is what I call I don't know how energy. And the reason why you want to get rid of I don't know how energy is because you are doing yourself and you're doing your brain a disservice every time you have a problem, but you answer it with, well, I don't know. Well, I can't figure this out. Well, I'm not sure. Well, I can't do it. Like, you are doing your brain a disservice. And this is why, because your brain, the way how it works, it's always working for you. When you have a problem, it's going to pull from what you know. It's going to pull from what you've already experienced. And when it cannot get the answer from those two things, guess what you have to rely on? Source. Infinite intelligence, God, right? You always have access to that. And that is the way how you will always know how and always know when and always know why. It's because you have that connection to God and you have to lean into that. Your brain is always listening to you and always feeding you what you give your attention to. So if you give your attention to not ever having answers, if you give your attention to never knowing how, if you give your attention to your unsureness, right? To your uncertainty, to I'm never going to be able to figure this out, then your brain is going to continue to feed you that. It's going to continue to feed you proof in your reality that you don't know how and you never will figure it out. So that's what I mean when I say I don't know how energy. And that's why it's super important to get out of it. Because when you start to train your brain to seek solutions more than you seek problems, the solutions will come. Your brain is not going to work harder than you make it work. And that's because that's just how it's created. It's created to keep you safe. It does not care about your success. So if you stay in I don't know how energy, if you keep feeding yourself that you don't know how, then you never will know how. So the way how you get over this is that you start to feed yourself information so that when your brain has questions, you can provide it with answers. When your brain is asking you, how am I going to do this thing? How am I going to get to this place? You have to take in the knowledge so that you know, so that you have an answer, right? The only way you will ever know how is by figuring out how, right? Is by telling yourself, I might not know how right now, but eventually I will. And that's how you figure out how. Okay. So the first thing, you have to get out of I don't know how energy. And that's easy. You just have to take in more information, strengthen your intuition, strengthen your faith in God, and you will always know how. Okay. Even if in this moment you don't, if you have faith that eventually the answer will come to you, then I promise you it will. The second thing that you have to do is strengthen your belief that anything is possible for you, right? Strengthen your belief that there is nothing that you cannot be, do, or have if you put your mind to it and you work to it consistently without quitting. And that was one of the first things that I had to do before I even became an entrepreneur, right? And even more so when I became an entrepreneur. But I first had to believe, like, that anything was possible for me. And honestly, it was me believing that is the reason why I even became an entrepreneur. Because before then, I just thought college and career, like that was it for me. That's what they said I had to do. That's what society promotes, right? That's what my family expected. But it wasn't until I started to become like really spiritual, and I started to really like read books about energy and frequency and my place in this universe, that I was like, hold on, I can do anything. Like I can literally be anything. Like if I have a desire, then it's there for a reason, right? So I had to strengthen that belief first that I could do anything or be anything. And it's funny because like when we're kids, like we're told this all the time, that we can be anything, that we can do anything. But I feel like as we grow up and as we like become adults, that becomes less and less true. Like, yeah, you can be anything, but as long as it fits into the parameters of this, right? As long as it looks like this. People start to tell you to be realistic, right? People start to tell you what's true for you. People start to tell you what's possible for you, and you believe it, right? If you don't already have the belief that you can do anything that you want, it's easy to believe it when someone tells you that's not realistic. So that's the second thing. You need to strengthen your belief that you can do anything that you want to do. You can have anything that you want. It's just, are you willing to take the time to go through what you have to go through to become the person who can have and maintain it? Okay. And this actually leads me to my third point. Prepare yourself to be someone who experiences what anyone who has had a big dream and succeeded at it has had to endure. So whatever it is that you say you want, you have to also be willing to go through what all the other people who have made it had to go through, right? And this actually reminds me of a quote from Les Brown, which goes, everyone wants to be a legend until it's time to do what legends do, right? And that quote, I heard that years ago, and it's always stuck with me. And I'm sure that that's one of the things that helped me to really like lean in and lock in on like being an entrepreneur and doing whatever I want, and just like knowing that this journey is not going to be easy, but it'll be worth it if I stick to it, right? It's because when you say I want to do great things, like I want to live this life, I want to have this type of life, you also have to be willing to go through what it takes to have that type of life, right? And that's not even to say that it means that everyone has to struggle. Like if you want to have a good life, automatically means you have to go through some struggle. That's not what I mean, but it often feels like struggle, right? As human beings, especially as human beings who in school, like they don't teach these things. They don't teach mindset enough. They don't teach spirituality enough, right? So we grow up, we get thrown out into this world, and then we kind of have to wing it on our own. So we automatically, when things aren't going our way, we automatically say we're stressing. We automatically say we're struggling. But in reality, stressing and struggling is a choice, because you can be in any situation and you can still choose how you want to react. You can still choose how you want to feel about it. It's hard. It's not always easy, but it is a simple concept, okay? You have the ability to choose how you want to feel about anything. Even when it feels like your emotions are out of your control, that's not the case. It's not that your emotions are out of your control. You're just out of practice. You just haven't controlled them enough. You just haven't learned how to really like manage them enough. And that's fine. That's fixable. But again, are you willing to go through the process of consistently reminding yourself that you do have more control than you think? Like, are you consistently willing to remind yourself that this is your life and you literally get to do whatever you want to do with it? Because that's what it takes. If you have a big dream, fine. I love it. Let's dream big. Like I will always encourage you and anyone who watches my videos to dream big, to go after the thing that scares you the most. Like that's my number one thing with all the clients I work with. Like let's go after the thing that scares you the most. And that's for two reasons. Is because that dream is there for a reason, right? If God gave you the dream, he gave you the ability. You just have to equip yourself. Okay. And that's what your experience is for. That's what your journey is for. And the second reason is because when you don't do the things that you say you really want to do, that's when life is even harder than it has to be, right? It's like, would you rather experience the hard of creating a life you don't really love, or the hard of creating a life that you know eventually you're going to reap the rewards for, that eventually you will never want to take a vacation from it? Because you have both options, okay? When you get to where you're meant to go, when you get to where you want to be, you will not care how long it took. Like it would not matter that it took you a year of battling negative thoughts until you finally started to think more positively. Like it would not matter that it took you 2 years to learn emotional awareness. It just will not matter how long it took you when you finally have accomplished the thing. Like you will not look back and think, damn, it took me so long. Like you're gonna look back and say, damn, I did it. Like I stayed consistent. I said I was gonna do this thing and I did it. Like I learned, I grew, I evolved. Look at who I am now. That is always going to be the case. So have patience, okay? Know that the life you want, you can have, honey. You can have it. And everything that you need to create that life, you have it right now. Like, you have it right here. You have everything. Like, look around, because this is what God gave you, and he said it was enough. The things that you need, they actually aren't outside of you. They're inside you. And you have those things in abundance. You just have to harvest them. You have to work on them. You have to bring them out, so that that is who you are, right? More than the part of you that doubts, more than the part of you that fears, more than the part of you that's insecure. Because just like how those parts exist within you, the opposite of those things are all also in you, right? The confident you, the one that believes fully in yourself. What side of you has the most power over your current reality is whichever side of you you're giving the most attention to. Give more attention to the part of you that believes, even if it's this much of you. Like, let that grow. Focus on that every day. Like, why do I believe in myself? Why can I do this? Like, every day, if you have to answer the question in your journal, why do I believe in myself, and give yourself a different reason every day for the next 30 days, then do that. But trust me, eventually the person that you're going to become is going to be the person that, even though you can't see it, it's the person that God knows you have to be in order to have the life that you say you want, in order to have the things that you say you want, right? Have it and maintain it. It doesn't matter what reality looks like for you right now. You have everything that you need. Just start believing it, and I promise you'll start to see it, okay? All right. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments. Let me know specifically which parts were the most helpful. And before you leave, make sure that you subscribe if you aren't already. And I will see you guys on the next video.